because this is HCPX. HCPX Sunday night special edition. Put the X up. And look, no need for introductions, no need for any of that stuff, man. Let's rock and roll. Let's get straight to it. And we had a fun fight. Like, this was a fun fight.
Like, isn't it crazy when we're saying it's a good fight? We meant it, right?
Good fight. Good fighters. I hear rumblings that the live gate will do about 3 million. The crowd looked excited, and this was good, man. Like, all of this was good. And I don't know, like, how you scored the fight. I had it 116, 112 for Benavidez, a clear victory. And Plant showed what Plant shows, right? Plant, to me, is one of those guys, and he's growing on me because he's one of the guys that I ask for as a boxing fan, right? And what do I ask for as a boxing fan? Win or lose, you're testing yourself. So he faced the number 1 guy, the number 2 guy. Last fight, he faced the number 7 guy. And he lost. He stepped up twice and lost. I can live with that. You know, he stepped up. He tried. He made a lot of money in the process. But he's obviously a first half fighter, right? Second half, there's a huge drop off. We've seen guys like that, right? Like Zab Judah. Zab Judah, if boxing was 6-round fights, Zab Judah would have been the pound for pound champion, right?
Right.
And then he falls off of a cliff. And Caleb Plant, the same thing, right? He falls.
It's a cliff. Like it's definitely a cliff. It's
a sudden drop once you get around the 6th round, and that's what we said coming into this fight. Like, we have a pretty good feel of what happens the first half of the fight, and then it gets dicey for Caleb Plant, right? It gets dicey after that, right? And it certainly started to get dicey for him. So for me, I had Plant up, I think 4-1 after the first 5 rounds, and then I had him losing the last 7 rounds. And I thought it was pretty easy to score. I favor aggressors, and that's what Benavidez obviously gives you, right? Aggression as the fight goes on. So good for him. How'd you have it scored, by the way?
I actually had it. I believe I had it 8-4, 7-5. I don't remember.
That's right. Right. That's about 115, 113, 116.
Just about. But here's what I'll say, and this is this is the problem. Like, the 10-point must system is not perfect by any means, because the rounds Benavidez won, like, he dominated. Like, he beat the shit out of Plant. There's no other way to put it. Yeah. Where Plant was outboxing Benavidez early in some of those rounds, but Benavidez was still in there. Like, he was competitive with Plant still. You know what I mean? So, like, I think I saw Doug Fisher at it, a draw. I mean, I don't quite agree with that.
To me, you had to have given the benefit of the doubt to Caleb every one of the first 6 rounds. And, you know, I can't get there. I can't.
Yeah. No, I can't get there myself, but even if you were to get there, the 6 you give to Benavidez are still dominant.
Yeah, I thought so.
mean? Without a doubt. And then round 10, I'm going to do 10-8 unless it's a knockdown, but if for anyone who doesn't have to do, like that can definitely be a 10-8, round 10. I mean, that was a beatdown. In my opinion. But yeah. It's a 10-9 to me. I need to see a knockdown, me personally, you know?
Yeah, so that's where I was at, 116, 112, 115. I thought that's another good thing is the scorecards were fair. They were all good. Like, there was no controversy here except the made-up controversy with, right, what's the referee got? Kenny Bayless.
Yeah, here's the thing. I was watching a fight. Now, I am annoyed. But when haven't I been annoyed with Kenny Bayless? I'm always annoyed with Kenny Bayless.
Always.
Right? Oh, Kenny Bayless, he's allowing all this holding. Kenny Bayless always allows holding.
He was Mayweather's bodyguard every other fight. He did 6 of Mayweather's He did 6 of Mayweather's last 12 fights, and there was a reason he was getting. There's a reason he got the second Maidana fight. There's a reason he got it.
Hey, look. He for sure, but let's go. I'm pretty certain he was a referee for the second Wilder Fury fight, right?
I'm not sure. I can't say off the top of my head.
I believe he was. Anybody correct me in the chat? Fury was doing headlocks, and I remember it was Kenny Bates actually. I'm second guessing myself, but he did it plenty of Floyd fights. He did plenty of fights with plenty of fighters where he allowed holding. He's always done that. That's his go-to. He was Meyer. Thank you. Fury was doing headlocks and holding in that fight, and I didn't like it. Like, I don't think he needed to do all that. He got away with it, right? But there was no complaining then, really. Like, there was no complaining when Floyd would do it. But now, because Plant was holding, I thought it was fake outrage. I'm going to be honest with you. Because he's always done that. He's always reffed that way.
But you know where it comes from? Do you know where that came from? It's the frustration that Benavidez didn't get the stoppage before the 11th round, so that had to be the alibi. That's what it is. And the thing with Bayless, to me, is if you're a great to special fighter, you still find a way, right? You still find a way. And as Caleb Plant's trainer said on Twitter earlier, it goes both ways. It's the rabbit punching. This is what happens. And it goes both ways.
I agree.
They're using that narrative for a reason. They wanted that stoppage. They wanted that stoppage. And I was talking to Beeb about this on Twitter earlier. They wanted that stoppage badly as a comparison.
Right.
And they didn't get it. So Kenny Bayless is the alibi. He's the fall guy. He's a scapegoat.
It's how I feel, Calix. Like, this is how I feel about holding, okay? People pick and choose, and they use semantics when it comes to holding. Okay?
Andre Ward.
Andre Ward. What do they do? That's not holding. That's clinching.
Bernard Hopkins.
Like, okay, you could call it clinching. Oh, there's a difference. Or this guy did it strategically. This guy does it because he's just holding on. But this guy won. Like, whether they win or lose or if it's effective or not, holding's holding, bro. All right? Like just because one guy's smart with it, the other guy's not, or this guy does it too long, this guy, all that shit. It's a bunch of, I like the way Ward did it, not the way Vladimir did it. Like, are you against it? Yes or no? Don't pick and choose. All right. And I kept hearing about how David Benavidez is a beast on the inside. Oh, he's a beast on the inside. How is Plant going to stop it? Well, we saw what he did. He held him. That was the game plan. Just like Calix, how did Haney stop the offense of Kambosos?
Yeah, he chopped it up, hit, hold, jab, hold, jab, hold.
Yeah, and then you reset the contest, yada yada. What I will say is this: I actually think the holding backfired on Plant. Just the holding, the wrestling, like it tires you out. It tires out your arms. Right. And I think it fatigued him a little faster because that's a much bigger dude. Like, you probably don't want to be initiating holding even against a much bigger, stronger guy. That's my opinion.
You know, we talked about coming in. There were question marks. There were wild cards. We're going to find out things. And that's the beautiful thing about fights like this and nights like what we had last night. We found out things about multiple fighters. You know, we found out Chris Colbert gets a gift draw, and Chris Colbert at this point is who we thought he was. We both bet on Rayo. We both, you know, unfortunately didn't get the money. But, you know, I don't want to focus on that fight too much right now. I said coming in, we're going to find out, is Caleb Plant, you know, is he the type of guy that fades late that we saw against Tigwai, Canelo, and we see that pattern, right? Every time he steps up, we're starting 100%. To see that pattern. 100%. He's a first half fighter, and then after that 6th round, he falls off of a cliff. He just does. He's like Zab Judah in that way. He's a different fight. He's a world-class fighter first half of the fight, second half. And the same about Benavidez. We're going to start to find out things. I like Benavidez. I think he's an exciting, entertaining fighter. He's a marketable guy. And we saw that last night. Like, early in the week, we're like, is there buzz there? It's hard to tell. And then when you start to hear rumblings about a $3 million live gate, that's solid. It's solid. You're starting to see that he can draw outside of Arizona. These are good things. And these are things we need in boxing. We need rivalries. We need the young lion trying to pick off the king of the division that's healthy.
Yep.
I will say this though. The narrative around Benavidez, and we'll talk about these narratives. One of them is that he's a monster, that he's just insurmountable. He's just a guy that's going to come in and destroy you, seek and destroy from the gate, from the jump, and you just can't deal with it. I didn't see that in this fight. I didn't. The first half of the fight, I saw a guy who threw 32 punches per round on average for the first half of the fight. That's less than his CompuBox, at less than half of his CompuBox average. He threw a combined 551 punches, I think. I think that averages out to 55 or 45 punches per round. Who else throws around 45 punches per round? Canelo. So his statistical average coming in was 67 punches per round.
Yeah.
That output came down heavily. Now, to Beeb's point back to me earlier, he says, but he still threw around the same percentage, right? He still throws fair
Not
enough.
really.
He's throwing it at a small. It's easier to throw a higher percentage when you're throwing less punches. And his defense was great statistically too. So what I saw last night is, and I said it last week, I wouldn't mind seeing Benavidez by decision, and that's what I ended up betting at plus 450, just a little bit, because I wasn't too sure on it. Just threw something out there, but I didn't mind seeing a more versatile fighter than I expected, and I thought that's what I got with Benavidez last night. But what I did not see is this dude who is just insurmountable. He's just a monster. He just comes in and destroys and destroys. That's not what I saw. Canelo. Who are the two fighters that Canelo lost to? Mayweather, Bivol. These are versatile, great defensive fighters.
Hard to hit.
But these are the type of fighters that have an easier pathway to beating Canelo. And they're trying to sell me on the fact that the pressure fighter is the one that's going to give Canelo problems. And this has never made sense to me, because he's always had the most success with guys he can find. And he's going to be able to find Benavidez in the ring. And I'm not saying, dude,
100%.
It's the natural process for the younger fighter to win, right? So it would not shock me to see Benavidez win that fight. And I want to see that fight. But you're trying to sell me on the pressure fighter is harder to beat for Canelo than a guy like Bivol. And it doesn't. It just doesn't vibe. It doesn't.
It's not adding up, right?
It's not adding up. It's not adding up. So what I saw last night, if you're going to be a pressure fighter who beats Canelo, you better be a special one. And I did not see a special pressure fighter last night. I saw a guy who threw 32 punches per round for the first 6 rounds.
Let's look at the number. The numbers don't lie, okay? Because I was listening to people, like, they were looking at the final tally, right? The final numbers, and they were like, "Wow, look!" People say he wasn't throwing, but look at everything he threw. Oh, look at the percentage. Oh, look. Okay, but let's look at the round by round. Don't look at the numbers. Analyze the numbers. You're supposed to look at punch stats, guys, the same way you score a fight. Mm-hmm. How do you score a fight? Round by round. So let's look at the punch stats round by round, right? First round, he threw 21 punches. Second round, 26. And then, as Calix mentioned, he was in the 30s. In the middle rounds there. And then he slowly started, right, to pick up the pace. But look at the percentages. They're low. 23%, 19%, 28%, 25%, 23% in the first 5 rounds. That's much lower, right? Not only the output, the percentage was far lower than we're used to seeing Benavidez throw. Point blank, period. And
those were the plant rounds right there. Those are the plant rounds.
And then round 6, 7, and 8, or 6 and 7, it got better, 31 and 28, right? Mm-hmm. But then there was a big drop off. And when the drop off happened, Calix, you saw the percentage go up, right? Mm-hmm. And that's when he started to pile on the numbers that you see in the very end, right? So you see the 47%, you see the 40%. And then look at round 10. He threw 85 punches in round 10, which is phenomenal, by the way, for a round 10. That's phenomenal. Yeah, and it landed 43. 50% is what he landed. but 43%. Look at what he landed in the 11th, 50%, and the 12th. But look at the numbers. Look how many he threw and how many he landed. So when people are looking at the final tally, when they're looking at the final numbers at the very end, keep in mind that Benavidez landed, okay, almost half of his punches, Calix, in the last 3 rounds.
Mm-hmm.
The last 3 rounds, he landed almost half of the punches that he landed in the whole fight. Because in round 5, he only landed 9. Round 2, he only landed 5. He only landed 13 in round 6. So he piled it on at the end to his credit. But so when you look at the final tally, it doesn't tell you the full story of the whole fight.
Right.
This was a tale of 2 fights, the first half and then after the cliff. The
it's
second
a Plant.
part.
That's what we've come to accustomed to with Plant, right? I mean,
for the most part, the chop off was way bigger here because I think the style was making Plant use a lot of his fuel. You know what I mean? But another thing that another narrative I wanted to spell, Calix, I kept hearing individuals talk about how David Benavidez just out jabbed the jabber. Like they were making it sound kind of he put on a jab fest, right? Mm-hmm. You're looking at him right there, Calix. How long did it take Benavidez to land more than 3 jabs in a round? What round?
11.
So it took him all the way to the 11th. Now, granted, round 10, he landed so many power punches, he didn't need to jab. But my point is, he landed no more than 3 jabs in the first 10 rounds. Mm-hmm. He only landed more than 3 in the 11th. But I keep hearing, Calix, about how he was just jabbing the shit out of Plant. But the numbers don't reflect that.
Yeah.
Like I don't see that. Like Plant landed 6 in round 2, right? And then he had volume in most of them as well, right? Whether CompuBox is getting that 100% correct, I think some of them were partial landing or whatever, but nonetheless, right? He was outlanded in the jab department in the first 5 rounds. Mm-hmm. That was not a myth. People were not making that up. He was getting out jabbed. Not by much, but he was, right? And then finally, I mean, the power punches, look at the high percentages in the last 3 rounds.
Yeah, off the charts.
Right? And that made up, like when you look at the final number, right? That made up for, and I'm comparing Benavidez to Benavidez, by the way, okay? Right. But those first 5 rounds, those percentages are abysmal for Benavidez, right? Mm-hmm. Not really good for him, but I mean, I just want to put that out there. But of course, if you just look at the final tally, I mean, it paints a picture that I don't believe is there. Like he only threw 551, but almost half of those punches thrown were in the last 3 rounds when Plant was done.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, the goods that I'm trying to be sold by people is a pressure fighter that's insurmountable, but Plant threw almost, 50, 60 more punches. So, and I didn't see that pressure fighter the first half of the fight. I just didn't. 32 punches per round. That's incredibly economical. So to me, when we look at a Benavidez versus Canelo fight down the road, you have to be more aggressive early in the fight because the first half of the fight, because if you're going to get to Canelo, you got to get to him early. And I keep hearing that overwhelm. He's going to overwhelm Canelo, overwhelm. These are the people saying that Benavidez win the fight, right? His way to do it will be to overwhelm him. And you're not going to do that throwing 32 punches per round. And, oh, by the way, I'm hearing people say, he's just doing that because he's feeling out Caleb Plant and he's trying to wear him out for later on in the fight. Canelo is a much more versatile fighter. Canelo is going to be able to use angles, turn Benavidez. And it's tough for me to envision a guy with almost 70 fights or 70 fights, whatever he's in, getting stopped who has never been stopped before.
Right.
I've never seen Canelo.
Like nothing's impossible, right? Because it's boxing.
He's been 36 rounds with Golovkin, and I understand Benavidez is bigger, but it's tough for me to envision that guy getting stopped. So you got to win a decision. And if you want to win a decision, I'm telling you, you got to be aggressive from 1 to 12 against Canelo. You got to be aggressive from 1 to 12. Unless you're a special, versatile fighter like a Bivol or a Mayweather, you got to be aggressive from the jump. Have to.
There's other narratives, Alex. Like, if you don't mind, I want to pull up the Canelo stats, right?
Mm-hmm.
With Alvarez-Plant. I think the one thing I want people to realize is two things. One, did Canelo change the way he fights when he fought Plant? The answer is no.
Mm-hmm.
Canelo still fought like Canelo, right? Like he didn't change like his way of fighting, like at all, really. But like if we look at the numbers here, let me just look at the consistency in Alvarez's number. Like this looks like a typical Canelo Alvarez fight. Like if I wasn't showing you that was Caleb Plant, like you would look at that and you would say, yeah, that's the pace Canelo fights at. That's around the percentages he lands. That sounds about right? You know, you don't look at that and say, oh my God, there was something wrong with Canelo. Why did he fight different?
Right.
He was in the 30%, high 30 percentiles for the most part. He dropped to the 20s early in the fight. And then he ended up stopping Plant after he kind of had him hurt. I think he was focusing more on the power shots late. He did not use a jab, as you can see right here. Canelo just didn't use a jab, but he was throwing very few jabs. But Plant, the only thing I'll give Plant credit for is that he did have a little more success with Canelo with the jab. But the reason for that's all he was throwing against Canelo.
Right.
He threw less punches against Canelo, bro. Plant only threw 441 punches against Canelo. Well, why do you think that is?
He's just afraid of what's coming back. The counters.
Exactly.
He's being hot-shotted.
I keep hearing, he engaged with Canelo. He didn't want to engage with Benavidez. What are you guys talking about? He threw more punches against Benavidez.
Yeah.
He engaged more. Canelo was chasing him literally the whole fight.
441 as compared to, what was it, around 630?
Almost 200 more punches thrown.
Yeah.
I mean, and now granted, but he stopped.
There is one more round.
One more round, but I mean, okay, like look at his average. Like he would have had 460. Like
it would have been around.
I mean, it's still like it's whatever to me, but look at the body shots landed by Canelo.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, at the end of the day, that's the percentage Canelo, because Canelo is looking for big power counters, so his percentage is not as high, right? He's not going for layups, guys, right? He's going for 3-pointers. So his percentile is not going to be as high, right? He didn't throw pity pat shots, and like that's not what he does. So I'm not too sure that this narrative that he put, like statistically, he put on a better performance than Canelo is true. I'm not convinced of it. I think Canelo fought the way he always fought. He got a better result. I mean, like it is what it is, but I'm not going to look at the final tally. If you look at it round by round, it's debatable at the very least.
Yeah. I want to make some things clear here. This was a good win last night for Benavidez. You would agree, right?
Of course.
Good win. It's a good win. And on top of that, now we're talking. The demand is there now for Canelo 100%. Benavidez. And it was not 100% there before. We were just asking, like, you got to give us a win. You've got to give us a win. And now he's given us that. You have a similar opponent that you fought. We saw that you both passed that test with flying colors. We get the fight now. We both want to see Canelo versus Benavidez. This is one of the biggest, if not the biggest fight that can be made in boxing now. All those things. And you and I would love to get on here and just talk about Benavidez versus Plant. I'm sure we could talk about the fight and the card for 2 hours, right? But then you have to start pushing back on these narratives, because the first thing I hear is, oh, Canelo's backed into a corner now. Canelo's fans, oh my God. Now they're asking him to fight Morrell Jr. and this guy, oh my God, oh my God. You know, the short bus stuff. They're sitting at the short bus stop, giving their short bus talking points. You and I, optimistic, positive people, positive, you know, we talk about the problems in boxing, but, you know, it's natural, it's healthy to have rivalries within a division as long as they're built up organically and not manufactured. Benavidez is making his way up. Now he's the clear number 2 in the division. Canelo's the king. You've got the young lion trying to pick off the guy at the top. And nobody's using age as an excuse. Everybody with any type of boxing knowledge would have said last year, Canelo started to show age last year. I understand Bivol's special, but after the Golovkin fight, I said, you know, Canelo looked a little, he's starting to show some shop-worn stuff now. All right. So, but that's a natural process. Is nobody wants to see what we're seeing in the middleweight division, a 41-year-old guy who can still argue that he's number 1. I like Golovkin, but he ain't that special to be 41 in the top of middleweight division. Nobody wants to see that. We want to see the young lions come up and challenge and pick off the top guys. We need to make this clear. The reason you and I and others like Canelo, so many people, is because he's consistently given us a track record of fighting the top guys. This fight's in demand. And the beautiful thing about Canelo is when a fight is in demand, it gets made. It might not get made in May. It might not get made in September. It will likely get made by at least February at the latest. At the very latest, May of next year. So Benavidez, go make another fight. It doesn't have to be Morrell Jr. for the Benavidez, you know, extremists. Morrell Jr., you know, they're asking him too much now.
No, that's a made up, bro. Like,
go fight Danny Jacobs. Go fight number 168 in BoxRec. Just stay busy one more time this year, and then you'll get the Canelo fight, whether Canelo loses to Bivol or not. That's where people start to rub me the wrong way.
Yeah. It's the entitlement. They feel entitled. Like, bro, like, first of all, so the WBA president, right, came out and suggested that his WBA regular champion, which you and I have always said there shouldn't even be a regular WBA champion, whatever, right?
Right. Trash.
Like, he comes out and he makes a suggestion, right? He's like, oh, how about Moriel against Benavidez, right? Totally random, right? But dude's coming out in the woodwork like, oh, all these Canelo fans, they're everywhere. Them, those guys, these people, all these fanboys, all of them. Look at this army of Canelo fans wanting to put Moriel in front of Canelo. Like the four-arm dude in Mortal Kombat. Like, they want to put him in front. You know, and Canelo's the final boss. You got to get through him first. Like, I don't know one Canelo fan that is suggesting that he has to go through Moriel. Honest to God, I'm not bullshitting you.
I didn't say it.
I haven't seen one. I just seen the WBA president say this. I don't know one person saying, oh, he's got to beat Moriel or else he don't get the title shot against Canelo. Like, nobody's saying that.
I didn't say it. You didn't say it. I don't know who said it.
Like,
I didn't see anybody say it.
Say fucking names. All right? Them, they, those fans, these people. Like who? Name me a name. Maybe there is a Canelo fan or two that are making the suggestion, right? But I bet you anything, it's highly likely they're probably some troll account. They probably don't even show their face on the camera. They're probably not a content creator. No one's saying that. That's a made-up shit. When you got to make up arguments and narratives, right? Well, when you got to make up an enemy to fight against, right? It's crazy. They're
like
shadow boxing.
You know why I like this comment right here is I'm seeing this too. And this is a good, like, the general thought is Canelo's older. Benavidez is entering his prime if he's not there already. So the longer Canelo waits is the worse for him, right? So that's exactly what I'm saying. I see both sides. They talk out both sides of their mouth. They'll say stuff like, oh, it's, the longer he waits, the worse it is for Canelo. The worse it is for Canelo. But then they'll say, oh, why doesn't he fight Benavidez in September? He must be scared.
I keep hearing, Calix, like everything changes. Okay, just wait till just wait, Calix. Just wait till Beterbiev fights. Right, they're gonna forget about Benavidez for a moment. You know what they're gonna be talking about? Canelo should be fighting Beterbiev. Oh no, he's already 39. Canelo's trying to age him out. Oh, Canelo, he'll never fight Beterbiev. I bet you anything, he's scared of Beterbiev. He'll never move up. He's waiting for Beterbiev to get old, right? Like, this is crazy, bro. Right? I mean, you can't make this up. So the question is,
it doesn't stop. It's exhausting.
Like one guy, like he's too young, or he doesn't want to fight him because he's too young. Other guys, he doesn't want to fight him until he gets too old. I mean, you can't make this up, bro. Like, it's always something. It's always something. I keep hearing guys tell me, "Oh, he ain't gonna fight Bivol again. He won't do it. Canelo ain't built like that." Like, what do you mean? He doesn't have a track record of ducking fights. He has the best record, like, resume in boxing.
We've talked about this ad nauseum, right? It's, if a fight is in demand, he's gonna get there. Like,
he's gonna get it, but they want it now.
Do you remember when he entered middleweight? And the theory was,
remember that commercial? It's my money, and I want it now.
Right, but do you remember the theory that he wasn't going to fight Golovkin? Cotto didn't fight him. Martinez, the whole theory. And then what did he do? He fought him. It didn't happen immediately, but he gave you the fight within a year and a half. Then he gave it to you again. Then he gave it to you again later on. And that's what I'm saying. Like, within 18 months, he's going to give you Ryder. He's going to give you Bivol, and he's going to give you Benavidez. I know that. And I'm willing to put my reputation as a boxing fan and a content creator on that. Mark my words.
I want it now.
Within 18 months, this dude is going to fight Ryder, Bivol, and Benavidez. He will. And that's after having a 2022 in which he fought Bivol and Golovkin. And I was told when he fought Bivol that was the duck of Charlo in 164 speeds.
Have you ever in your life, maybe you have, by the way, I don't know. I'm asking you a blank question, okay? I'm asking you a blank question.
Go ahead.
But have you ever in your life, when a mailman delivers a mail, have you ever gone out of your way to thank him?
I have.
Have you ever gone up to him and been, "Oh, thank you, man.
Mm-hmm.
You that dude, bro." Like, yes. You know what I mean? And give him a tip. You know what I mean? Have you ever given a tip to the mailman?
I've never given him a tip, no.
No? But you praise the mailman for delivering the mail?
No, I mean, I just say thank you. But I know what you're getting at. Like, you don't praise somebody for doing what they're supposed to do.
So here's the deal, right? Because a dude fights fucking Lemieux, right? And then they're like, "Whoa, hey, it's a good fight. Canelo should fight him now." And then they're like, "Well, why did you fight a real dude, like a Plant or something, right?" Mm-hmm. Finally, he fights Plant. And now, Benavidez fans, and rightfully so, actually, they're feeling themselves. You know what I mean? They're like, they're walking around like the shit don't stink. And they're taking shits in stalls and they're in the urinals right next to each other, like, "Oh yeah, Canelo's scared. Oh yeah, for real, yeah." You know what I mean? But here's the thing, right? But you see how good it feels, Benavidez? You see how good it felt when he beat Plant, and you see how that victory, because I see it. Their energy tells me everything. Like, the way they're talking with swag right now, bro. They're like, "Yeah, what's up, Canelo? Huh?" Like before, they didn't even sound believable. They were like, "Yeah, why doesn't Canelo fight him, please? Maybe." But now they're like, But you see how when you get a legitimate win, it matters. Like, you see how now we have a common opponent we can compare it to.
Now we have legitimate demand.
You're showing it with your actions, and now you feel like he's more entitled. Like, you don't got shit to prove no more. Like, "What's up, Canelo? Drop what you're doing and fight Benavidez now, motherfucker." Like, you know what I mean? Like, they're talking with swag right now. right? So that's what a win like that does. Like this win has gotten people from all walks of life, Calix, right? Glovegate dudes, Benavidez fans, Charlo fans, MMA fans, disgruntled Triple G fans. It's got everybody from all over all walks of life. They're all banding together right now. Like, what's up, Canelo? We're gonna fight Benavidez or what, huh? Like, they're getting together for one common cause, doing live streams together, agreeing. Oh, I agree 100% with everything you just said. I love that. Oh, you criticize Canelo. Ooh, I love the sound of that. That's like apple pie to me, right? Like I'm just saying. Now, I mean, criticizing Canelo, the sweetest joy, next to getting pussy to them. I mean, it is what it is, okay? But my thing is, right, they're joining forces, like Joe Lopez 40 ounce said. I mean, this is crazy. I seen dudes that go at it and other topics and fuck yous and P words and you piece of shit, you don't know shit about boxing. But today, they joined forces for one common goal. To go after Saul Canelo Alvarez, right? And battle this army of Canelo fans that I have not met, by the way, that are saying that he needs to go through Muriel first before he gets to Canelo. You can't make this up. Because I don't know not one. I haven't seen it.
You know what's funny about that too is it's not the Canelo fans who have built up this narrative that Morrell Jr. is some sort of boogeyman as well, right?
It's people that want to see Muriel fight Canelo. Because I'm also seeing on my timeline, I'm seeing highlights of Muriel. Canelo will never fight this guy because he did a two-step in the ring or some shit. Like, he'll never get in the ring with him. You got the Akis out there doing interviews with Muriel. Like, hey, what's up? You think Canelo will fight you? Oh, Canelo will never fight me. He's scared of me. And, like, you got the Dante's Boxing Nations, saying that he'll never fight Muriel. And, like, you know what I mean? So like, Canelo fans aren't the ones that build up Muriel.
No.
We're the ones saying.
He's got like 8 fights, I think. But you know what? The reason I leave this comment up, I'm going to get some more in a minute, is Liza is one of the. She goes to bat for Canelo on Twitter all the time. She's one of the biggest Canelo fans I know. But
she's a female.
She wants to see the Benavidez fight. And this is what I'm saying. There is nobody out there. There's nobody out there saying we don't want to see Canelo versus Benavidez.
This is all we're saying. All we're saying is Canelo's busy right now. He's going to fight Bivol in September. That's all we're saying. At most, that's what we're saying.
And is it not fair criticism to question the monster narrative after last night? Like, I did not see a monster. I did not see a boogeyman.
You know what?
I did not see that.
Let him think it's a monster.
Look, but Max Kellerman, I felt, had a very level-headed take of what he saw last night in the whole scenario, right? It's Plant is a good fighter. And Benavidez is very good, but he's short of great right now. And Canelo gives him the opportunity of becoming a great fighter, possibly, right? That's level-headed. Like, that's a level-headed take. And that's the take. We want to see the
but you
fight.
know what? I'll push it aside.
Where is the track? Where is this? What's the
track
record of Canelo not giving you the fight you want to see? It's going to happen, fellas. Relax. D-Style. I'm just telling people, relax.
But get this, get this
really quick. But listen, don't get your panties in a wad, not the people out there. Because, look, you're going to get the fight. That's the beautiful part about this. You have a generous king, champion, heavy as the head that wears the crown. It's polarizing. It's always polarizing when you are the cash cow. And that's what it is. Like, nobody's whining that, Canelo doesn't get a – that's not – what we're telling you is you're gonna get the fight.
But I keep hearing
he's gonna fight him.
I keep hearing he's a Mexican monster. Oh, he's a boogeyman. Canelo's scared. He's running scared. No, nobody wants to fight this guy. Nobody will fight him, right? But like, bro, honest to God, a shout out to Remy, by the way. He says, "What's up to Galaxy?" This absolute shout out, brother. Here's the thing. So like, I wasn't even thinking about Muriel. And just for the record, I don't think he needs to fight Moriel. Okay, Moriel's green to me. That's what I've always been saying. Like when people are, Canelo's got to fight him. I've always said if Canelo fights Moriel, they're going to say, why is he fighting a dude with 8 fights? Like that's always been what I said.
PBC doesn't care enough about Morel to even put his fight on the schedule until 4 days before it happens.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Why are Benavidez like he's the monster, he's an unstoppable force, but like they hear the name Moriel and they're acting weird about it. Like they're like, no. I'm like, well, why are you guys like you know what you should be saying? Why you want to ruin this prospect's fucking career? I don't give a fuck he has a Reggie belt. Benavidez will fuck that dude up. I'm saying that. He'll fuck him up, in my opinion.
Is Morel better than the Trout that Canelo fought? Is he better than
I don't think so.
That
not
Canelo
yet.
fought?
He's got a shitload of potential. Don't get me wrong. But he's not there yet. He hasn't fought anybody yet. Like, I don't think he's in the mix, right? I don't, right? But the response is ridiculous, bro. Like the way Benavidez fans are acting, like you say Moriel. Oh, what? Why? Why should he fight him? Well, why do you want him to fight Moriel, huh? Are you trying to protect Canelo? Like, you're insinuating that you think Moriel could fuck up Plant.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you think Moriel will fuck up Plant's bag, but when you say things like that, you know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
I'm about all the smoke, right? Like Trinidad wasn't thinking about that shit before the imagine if De La Hoya was like, I want to fight Trinidad, so and then hey De La Hoya, fight Ike Corte. Well, why? Well, why should I fight Ike Corte? That wasn't his fucking mentality. The mentality and Trinidad's, by the way, I'm the best motherfucker in this division. It doesn't matter who you put in front of me. I'm gonna fuck him up. D-Star, you're being nostalgic. That was the 90s. Okay. What did Tim Tszyu do when Jermell fucked up his hand?
Fought Tony Harrison.
Did he fight a tune-up? Did he get an easy touch?
Mm-hmm.
Was anybody up in arms? Like, well, why does he have to fight? Were the Australian fans acting weird? Why do you want to fight Harrison, huh? Why should he do that? Are you guys trying to protect Jermell? Like what? Who does that, bro?
But I think what the Benavidez hardcore fan, I don't want to put this on all bit because more on this in a minute, but more on that part of it in a minute. But they're trying to push that we're sitting, we're cuddling our body pillows watching the fight last night. It's like, oh my god, this guy's
Benavidez to win.
He's insurmountable. I can't do it. We can't have this. And they're trying to push this thing like Canelo sitting in Mexico in Jalisco, and he's sitting next to his
fight Bivol instead.
And he's sitting there like, oh my god, I can't do this.
Canelo, please.
I gotta fight Bivol over Benavidez. I just can't.
Canelo, please. And go get your ass kicked by Bivol again instead, please. I just want to see.
We need to be clear on something too.
Out of here.
A duck is when you don't fight a guy in favor of an easier guy. Who in the hell is arguing that Benavidez at this point in time should be viewed as a tougher fighter than Bivol, especially when you take into account the few fighters who have given Canelo trouble, and he's already beaten Canelo soundly, and Canelo going to fight him again in his weight class, and you're calling that a duck. What I'm trying to tell you is he's going to give you the fight because he always does. Within the next 18 months, even before that, you will get the fight.
Maybe.
Relax. Have fun. I don't know what you need to do. Like, find a girlfriend, just have fun. I don't know what to say at this point. Dude, relax. You're going to get the fight. He always gives you the fight you want, and he's more active than the other fighters. So
right.
He's going to fight 3 times before a lot of these dudes fight once. All right? So on top of that, my other point would be we became Canelo fans for a reason. And if Benavidez goes on one of these runs where he beats Caleb Plant, let's say it be whoever later on in the year, but then he fights Moriel.
Don't say Moriel. You better not say Moriel.
you can't do that. But if he were to fight, but these stuff, if he fights Plant, if he fights Canelo, then after that, let's say he fights a Morel.
They don't think he could be Morel.
He fights a Bivol. I don't even care if he splits that half and half, 3-3. Guess who his biggest fan will be at that point? Me. You're looking at him. If Benavidez goes on a run where he fights that level of competition, no matter if he's winning or losing, I'm a fan. Guess what? I'm a fan of Canelo, of Caleb Plant. Why?
100%.
Even with his deficiencies, he fought Canelo. He fights Benavidez. He fought a number 7 guy in the division in between that, knocked him out. I'm a fan. As long as he continues with that, right?
Look, I don't care what you say, but if you say one more time that he needs to, if you even suggest, if you even think about him fighting Moriel, you're gonna get it.
It's gonna be like,
wow.
You know what it is? It's gonna be
like Canelo fan. You're not saying it, but you're all thinking it. You want him to fight Moriel. I know you do. You're thinking it. You didn't tweet it, but you thought about tweeting it. Like, what the fuck's going on? Well, what are the names?
I literally didn't see anybody except the sanctioning body even bring that up. Like, nobody was even thinking about Morel Jr. Nobody was even thinking about that. And now the theory is he's the new roadblock because it's unfair to even ask Benavidez to fight another top fight while Canelo's busy fighting Bivol. We can't do it.
He did what all great fighters, all elite fighters should be fighting elite fighters. He finally fought an elite fighter, right? Beat him soundly.
He did.
And you guys, you know the feeling because you're acting different. You're more proud of this win, right? Like when you're talking shit this time, I believe it. Like, I didn't believe you guys when you're talking shit after the...
They got bass in their voice since last
night. Yeah, they got bass in the voice. Yeah, what's up? Yeah, they're inviting Canelo fans to the streams now. Like, you know what I mean? They're getting bold. You know what I mean? They're like, well, yo, what's up? I'm going to drop the link. What's going on? You Canelo fanboys, what's up? Huh? What's up? What's up with Plant? I thought you thought Plant was going to win. They're throwing gang signs and shit. You know what I mean? Like when he beat, what's his name, Lemieux? They sounded French, bro. Like, man, like, you know, like, come on, like it's a good fight, guys. Yeah. Come on, he fought Yildirim. Like, they don't need to say he fought Yildirim anymore. Like, they could just say, oh, he beat. Like, they have an argument now, right?
They do. It's in demand now. They got.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing. They got bass in the voice now.
Be more peaceful, dude. Like, just be more peaceful.
You know, hey, I get it, man. They're like, they feel like Tupac out here, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, hey, you know, they're like, hey, what's up? All eyes on me. You know, what's up? You know, but here's the thing. Like, they're getting ready to pistol whip these fake, these made up Canelo fans that are putting putting roadblocks and putting what's his name, Moriel in front of like.
No, look. Here's what we're gonna do. You ever seen Harry Potter? You know, like they couldn't speak, but they couldn't speak.
You have kids, but I haven't seen it.
But listen, you can't speak Voldemort's name. He's the name that should never be mentioned, and that's Morel. That's Morel Jr. We shall never mention his name. He's the name that shall not be mentioned. That's how we're gonna.
What's up with the monster, bro? So the monster's not the monster when you bring a Moriel? What the fuck? Like, what's going on? Like, when it comes to Canelo, you're the big bad wolf. You're gonna huff. You're gonna puff. You're gonna like blow the house down. You know what I mean? But when it comes to Moriel, he's a red brick house. You know what I mean? You're like huffing. You're puffing. You can't blow shit. Like no, not Moriel. Oh no. Why? Come on, dude. That's some made up shit, bro. Mm-hmm. When I would go after narratives with Glovegate, I had receipts, I had copies. I would take screenshots of tweets and I'll take clips of dudes spreading lies about it. And I would show people, right? Hey guys, people are saying this crazy shit about Glovegate. Hey, listen to this. Listen to that. Watch this, right? Can we have the names? Like, who are these dudes that are saying that he's got, like, I'll be the first one to go to that person and say, bro, you're crazy if you think he needs to fight Moriel before Canelo. Like, that's nuts, right? All right, I'm just saying. Although I need to stop saying the name. I'm getting them nervous. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just, like, I just don't, like, they like, what? Like if somebody said, like, I don't know, like I was an Eddie Morales fan, right? Like if anybody would have said, like, I don't know, hey, Morales, he needs to get smoked with that Pacquiao cap before he fights Barrera at their time. Or something like that. I would have been fine. Fuck it, let's go. Because those fuckers, they all fight each other. You know what I mean? Like it was all over the place. You fight him, I'll fight you. Let's go. Like, and then I'll fight him again. And if he beats you, I'll beat you. And then he'll beat me. Whatever. They all did it, bro. Like, stop acting weird when names are brought up, bro. You can't accuse Canelo of acting weird when names are brought up, but then you act weird about a do-or-die fights, right? But this shit's crazy, bro. Could you just imagine, like De La Hoya fans feeling some type of way because he needs to fight Whitaker before he gets to Trinidad, or he needs to fight Obakar. Oh, what? Like, nah, bro. And then you know who fought Whitaker, which at the time was considered a dangerous fight? After he's coming off a controversial loss with De La Hoya, Trinidad did. Mm-hmm. Trinidad fought him. He didn't have to do that. He could have just been like, well, why do I need to do that? Come on, like, give me in the ring with De La Hoya, because the mentality is different. That's why. Canelo wasn't doing all that when he unified the division. Why do I need to fight Caleb and then Saunders and then Plant? Why don't the other two fight each other? And it makes it easier for me. He didn't do all that. He just did it.
Yeah.
Real fighters just do the shit. Well, why did Benavidez? Because Benavidez missed weight. He took an L to the scale. It is what it is. Right?
I'm going to make clear what my thoughts are since last night on Benavidez, the whole situation. Let's start with Caleb Plant. Respect for him. Fell short again, but he took the shot. Good for him. First half fighter, second half fighter falls off the cliff. We've been over that. For Benavidez, good win. It's a good win. It's a good comparable win. Mm-hmm. And now we have legitimate, rightful demand for a big fight, and that will be a big fight. And on top of that, Benavidez showed that he can draw outside of Arizona. These are all this is all fair. 3 million live gate, if that's what it is, it's a good number. It's a good number. It's not Canelo numbers, but it's a good number. Now we've got a guy who's a legitimate threat, right? And he's earned it. Demand. The demand is there. It's there. It's a good win. We're all for it. We're all for it. And you're going to get it. That's the beautiful thing about it. There's no doubt about it. There's not going to be a Bud Crawford, Errol Spence, unless there's something, and we talked about this before the show, off the record, on the phone, is unless there's a PBC situation in which they demand that Canelo comes to the other side.
Which I want to talk about.
Which, by the is absurd to me. If you're the cash cow, and this is what I've been told, right? Tank Ryan, Errol Bud. If you're the cash cow, you're the A side. You can dictate the terms, right? You can make the demands. So if Canelo wants to fight on the zone and with Trust Fund Eddie, and I'm just making this clear. I'm not trying to be a fanager. I'm just making this clear. If the fight falls apart over that, we know whose fault it is.
They're going to blame, there's going to be the same dudes that are getting together, doing live streams, holding hands, seeing kumbaya, and for some reason the line, I agree 100% with everything you said, is very common. Like when people get together to bash Canelo, like they didn't say anything. Like, oh, Canelo, he's a duck. He's always been a duck his whole career. Oh, I agree 100% with everything you just said. Like I don't know what that's about, but I was on the Boxing Voice 2 years ago. And Nestor Gibbs, shout out to him, but and half of that fan base over there were telling me that Plant is the A side because he's with a bigger entity in Showtime, Fox, and without Heyman, and that since Canelo said he wants to be undisputed, he needs to be willing to cross the street and grab that belt since he said he wants to be undisputed, right? I mean, that's as unreasonable as it gets. And they were still trying to play hardball. They were trying to lock him into a multi-fight deal. Okay, they were playing hardball with Canelo. And there's no doubt in my mind, none, zero, okay, that if the PBC side decides to make Canelo off, which they have a right to do. I'm not saying they don't have a right to propose something, right? Mm-hmm. But if they come out and they say, hey, Canelo, we want you to come to PBC, we'll pay you X amount, right? If it's anything, Calix, if they come out and they say, oh, we're offering Canelo $70 million, right? They're going to come out, they're going to say, oh, that's more than Canelo ever made. Canelo's ducking because he's not taking that amount, blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? Because they were saying that when it was a $50 million guarantee against Plant, right? They were saying Canelo needs to take it. It's the most he's ever made. But they were ignoring the fact that Plant was making 10 times the amount he ever made. So whatever Benavidez is going to make is going to be far greater than anything he's ever made, regardless of where the offer is. All right?
Good for him, too. Good for him.
If the fight falls apart, just like Calix said, if the fight, I'm going on record, if the fight falls apart for disagreement on who's going to carry the fight, it's 100% the PBC side and Benavidez. Point blank. That's not negotiable to me. I don't care what the figures are. I don't care what the deal is. I don't care if it's a one-fight deal, multi-fight deal. If Canelo says, no, you are going to come over here. You know why? Because he has all 4 belts, if you care about that. He has a better resume, if you care about that. He's a bigger name. He's a bigger draw, if you care about that. No matter what direction you go, Calix, resume, money, popularity, all the belts, Canelo has all of it. All of it. Right? Like period. So if they say, no, you have to come over here. Right? I don't want to hear, oh, the fight should be on Showtime because it's bigger on Showtime, or he sold more on Showtime than on the Zone, and things that we shouldn't even care about, right? It'll be 100%. And my challenge to everyone who keeps saying, I want to see Canelo fight Benavidez, is the following. At the caveat, don't just make demands of Canelo. If you want to, Canelo, you better fight Benavidez. Fight Benavidez. I want you to also point at Benavidez and say, go to the Zone and make this fight. Go to Al and make this fight happen. Go do what homeboy that's going to go fight Italy did. Go do what Fulton did. Okay, go do that. They let Andy Ruiz lead the promotion to go fight AJ, right? Like, it is what it is. Like,
I don't want to hear, I got to talk to my advisor. Don't want to hear it.
I don't want to hear talk to my advisor. I don't want to hear, oh, they're only offering David $10 million. Okay, I don't want to hear any of it. None of it. I don't want to hear nothing. I don't give, like that's it. All right? I don't want to hear nothing. Nada, zilch, zero. All right? All I want to know is, are you guys willing to put like everyone talks about putting pressure on? Oh, let's put pressure on Canelo to fight Benavidez. If you really want to make this fight happen, then we got to put pressure on Benavidez to go over to the Zone and be willing to go to the Zone to fight Canelo, because that is a roadblock. That is on the way, and that's realistic. You can't come on here all day on the internet and be like, oh, fighters don't duck. It's the business of boxing. It's the guys with the suits. But then ignore that fact here, right? There's no guarantee that he's going to allow Benavidez to go over to the Zone. And one more thing about that. You think the Zone is going to allow Canelo to go back to PBC? Mm-hmm. They already let Ryan go over there. They're like I think
got the cash cow now.
Yeah, they're gonna be like, nah, bro. Like we invested a lot in Canelo. Like we're the ones that have been paying him. It's gonna be over here, right? I don't want to hear, oh, it's an app, because you know what's an app now too? Showtime, right? I don't want to hear, oh, who wants to watch it on an app? I don't want to hear Showtime's bigger. I don't want to hear any of that. Mm-hmm. Point blank. Period. I don't want to hear, but Canelo could do it, so he should. I don't care. Benavidez should go over to the Zone. Period.
Canelo, free agent, he can work with whoever he wants to. If he says, I want to work with Trust Fund Eddie, I want to work with the Zone, guess what? Cross the damn street. And people, don't be naive. This will be a battle. I've said it about Al Heyman. If a nickel bag is sold in the park, he wants in. He wants in on all of it. He tried to lock Canelo into a multi-fight deal, and that held up the Plant fight. He's been wanting in on the Canelo business for quite a while. So it will be a battle. But at the end of the day, it's a very makeable fight. It's a fight that's in demand, and they should deliver it to us. And make the fight. But another point that I wanted to make, and shout out to Nando, does PBC Showtime have the ends? I don't know. We'll see. They've shown in the past that they'll throw money out at Canelo. Now, whether that's guaranteed money that he'll actually get, I don't know. But he's shown that he'd much rather work with Eddie, right? And he's entitled to that. But the other part of last night is, and I feel like this is a level-headed take, and the reason I bring it up is because we're being sold on something that I did not see last night. The positive of last night with Benavidez is he showed some versatility in that he can win a decision. It's not just knockout. He won a decision against a good fighter. He won a decision against the top 3 fighter in the weight class. Good for him. He showed some versatility down the stretch, all that stuff. But what I did not see last night is this monster. And I saw a much more economical fighter than I've seen when he was fighting a guy like Lemieux, for example, in that level of competition. He was not this guy that was throwing 67 punches per round from the jump and just walking you down. I want to see Benavidez go on a streak where he's fighting top level of competition. Let's see if he can walk these guys down. And if he does that, win or lose, I'm a fan. But I did not see last night a guy that can go on a run like that and walk through guys undefeated. I didn't see it. And I also, if anything, it reaffirmed my belief that Canelo beats Benavidez last night. Because if you're going to get to Canelo, you've got to put pressure on him early. You've got to. If you're going to beat him as a pressure fighter, and you have to be a special pressure fighter. Golovkin, versatile fighter, also a special pressure fighter. And even he couldn't whether you feel like he won the fight, he never, in a great jab, right? But he never won officially the fight against Canelo 36 rounds. So I'm wondering, like, Angulo, Kirkland, all pressure fighters that did not have success against Canelo. Canelo would rather guys that he can find in there, and he'd rather guys who are taller than him he can get into the body. The guys that give Canelo problems are just the special, versatile fighters, the Bivols, the Mayweathers. And I didn't see any of that.
Mayweather, like an all-time great. Like, you know what I mean? And Canelo was 23 years old. Mm-hmm. And then you're talking about, like, Bivol, a guy at 175, by the way, right? Very versatile, and someone who I believe would easily, what I saw in the first 5 rounds of Plant, he would easily beat Benavidez, like easy. Mm-hmm. I don't buy this. Like, if his output was that low and he had to wait till like Plant hit the cliff, like we know he always does, well, there's no cliff with Bivol. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that cliff's not going to come. So like, how long is it going to take you to get it good going? Like, I just don't understand. Look, obviously, look, there's other names out here that when Jamal fight, if Jamal comes back, wins by knockout, the narrative is going to become, oh, why isn't Canelo fighting Jamal? He's running from the hills. Mm-hmm. And they're going to do the same thing. Like, if somebody suggests that Jamal should fight Moriel, like, oh my God. You know?
You mentioned it again.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, whenever Andrade fights, there's a lot fewer of them. But again, they come out, oh, why doesn't he fight Andrade? It's always the same thing, which makes sense because he's a champion of the division, so I get it, right? But I don't know, man. I'm not. I've always known David is good. That's why I picked him to win. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, there was nothing really shocking to me, like, in this fight, personally. I expected him to win. I think the strengths of Benavidez works to his advantage against the weaknesses of Plant, right? Like, it just so happens to be that way, like, stylistically. That's why I've always said Benavidez would be Plant. I've always said that.
But although it's a good win, there was something unexpected that happened last night as far as the result. He was the clear favorite to win by knockout. And I bet him small money on decision. And it was it was almost plus 500.
It almost happened though. Like it was
And
really
he
close.
but he didn't get the stoppage. I have Beeb
No, he
telling
didn't.
me, "Oh, you know where you were." He didn't get the stoppage.
He failed to
didn't
stop
get it. He failed to stop him, and that's where the alibi comes into play. That's where the alibi comes into play with the referee. Is
By the way, who should Morel fight? Because everybody keeps saying Morel needs to step up, right? So who should he fight then? Plant. I think that's a good fight. Somebody mentioned it earlier in chat. Plant versus Morel.
But I mean, put Morel in there with Andre. Put Morel in there with Charlo. But that's the thing. Like,
are you trying to protect Canelo from Andrade?
Exactly.
Why do you want to throw him in there? Like, anytime you suggest a fight where these guys could step up, right? Because they were doing the same thing before the Plant fight. Like before the Plant fight was announced, why does he need to fight Plant? For what? You don't need. He already beat Lemieux. Like, okay. Which, by the way, no base. Like when they were saying that, you know what I mean? Hey, Calix, what you think of the Rayo Colbert fight?
I felt Rayo won, and I felt Rayo did exactly what I wanted him to do: is jump on Colbert early, and I bet Rayo. And that's like I said, charge it to the game, because sometimes you make the right call, and unfortunately you don't get it right.
Don't give it to you, yeah.
I
thought he won for sure.
That's the tough part about betting boxing, is you can get it right, and Colbert's out there being disingenuous, no rematch. I beat him. He didn't win the fight. He simply
and look, we'll start doing soon, because I think. The whole week, look, man, I knew Jesus Ramos was going to annihilate Spencer. Like, I just knew it. I've never been impressed with Spencer. I seen him gas in 4-round fights. I mean, and I know how good Jesus Ramos is, right? Like, I think Jesus Ramos is a future contender at the very least. If he's not, he's like 1-2 fights away from being a top contender. Like, you know what I mean? So, like, putting in, like, I don't know. I feel bad for Spencer. I know they're saying he asked for the fight, so God bless him. He wanted to step up. You know what I mean? But I knew he was going to get annihilated. And if we would have brought it up, man, that would have been the lock of the week. Like, as far as a good bet, it's a lock. You're going to win money. It was almost 3-1 for Ramos by stoppage, which is astonishing to me. And so maybe like next week we could introduce like a lock of the week to help people make money out there, because that was easy money, right? And Spencer, for those that don't know, he was going around, right? The dude was going around on live streams saying that Kronk Gym is known for putting the fists in the wrist area of the glove with the floppy glove, and that he personally knew fighters that did that out of Detroit. And I don't know what the hell that kid was talking about. I don't know if he was just trying to get his name out there or what it was, but he was saying some dirty shit, maybe unintentionally, but about Kronk Gym and Emmanuel Stewart, who's a legend in the sport, a legendary gym in the sport. And for a 20-year-old kid to be saying that Kronk Gym's known for that, and like what was crazy, and what's even crazier is that the floppy glove wasn't even when he was at Sugar Hill. Like, that was the floppy glove was in the first fight. Which why I knew it was stupid, but I don't know. Maybe Ramos had a floppy glove.
Another thing I took from last night is Cody Crowley's limited, right? He's a limited fighter.
I didn't get to watch that fight.
How high he can go. No, there's a ceiling on how high he can go, and I don't think he can get to top 5. And I think there's a reason he's still at this level of competition. The record's padded.
It's a tough division too. Like
inactive as well. It's a tough division in theory, but none of the guys are fighting each other in this division besides Virgil Ortiz Jr. and
I know that, but even the guys that aren't fighting each other. Like all those paths, there's a lot of pathways, right? He won't get through any of those pathways. Like all those are some rough roads. Like he I'll fight Ortiz. You ain't gonna win. Stanionis, if he pulls it, he ain't gonna win. Oh, I'll take the Crawford route. You ain't gonna win. Spence, nope. Ugas, no. I don't even think he beats Ugas. Does he beat Spence? I mean, not Spence. Not Spence. Thurman. Does he beat Thurman?
Nah, I would hate that fight, but
I mean, I'll take quality Thurman over Spence.
I would take that. I'll take that because that's a good gatekeeper, and yeah, I'm just not high on
a tough one. How about this one? How about this? Mario Barrios, the pay-per-view star. Mario Barrios against Crawley.
That's a hell of a fight. That's a hell of a fight. And Mario Barrios looked like he fit nicely at 147. His body. I'd pick Crawley in that fight, but anybody like top 7 or 8 in the division, I'd pick over Cody Crawley.
Yeah.
Who do you think Benavidez will fight next? Real quick, we know it's not. We know it can't be Morrell Jr.
I mean, look. First of all, if he did fight Morrell, I would actually say it's too early for Morrell. Like that's what I would say. I wouldn't be against it, but I don't want. I personally don't really want to see that fight yet. You know what I mean? Like I think Morrell's like. I think he should maybe a Plant, maybe somewhere. I don't know if Durrell's going to stick around or not. Maybe him or somewhere around that. Like, you know what I mean? Like that.
Charlo said on Friday he wants to fight Benavidez next.
Or Morrell against the Puerto Rican Berlanga or like something like that. You know what I mean? I think that's where he's at right now. Just for the record, okay? Like I don't think Morrell is this big like obstacle before we get to Canelo. Like
me neither.
He's not. All right. So I would rather Benavidez, as long as he fights somebody in the top 10, I'm good. And I don't think he should be criticized if he fights somebody in the top 10 only because Canelo's going to fight Bivol, right? Yeah. But look, Benavidez was talking a lot. Like he was talking about he could knock out Bivol, and he said he could move up and be better Beav right now. But you say Morrell and dudes act weird. Like, I don't get it. Okay. Like, I mean, this dude is saying he could beat better Beav. You know what I mean? Like, but you say Morrell. Maybe we're talking about Morrell. We don't know, bro. Like, he might be a gem and we don't know it. Like,
he might be.
But yeah. To answer your question, somebody in the top 10. You know what I mean? I wouldn't even mind the Berlanga fight with Benavidez. It won't happen because he's over there with Matchroom, but I think he beats the shit out of Berlanga, quite frankly. But it's a Mexican Puerto Rican fight. You know what I mean? If they could come up with an agreement to make it,
Charlo should be a makeable fight. But for the record, since we may be asking too much, even if he fights Box Rec 100, whoever, I'll still want to see the Canelo fight.
Why do you want them to fight each other? Are you trying to protect Canelo? Just fight a top 10 dude, bro. Like, fine. All right. Whatever.
Fight the Rayo. Whatever.
Fight the Rayo again. You know what I mean?
Jacobs.
I mean, I don't know.
I don't want to ask too much. Like,
Morrell. Like, I'm good. Like, I don't think, like, for the record, I don't think he needs to do more. Like, I think he's fine where he's at, right? But one more thing I want to touch on.
You mean to get the Canelo fight? You think he's got there already?
Yeah. But here's the thing. But here's the thing. I've heard this a lot. I don't want to hear what a guy needs to do to get Canelo because. And shout out to Beeb because he was the one saying this. Because he fought Yildirim and he fought Rocky Fielding. Dude, you can't say things without context. Okay? Context. All right? What Rocky Fielding was Canelo's first fight at 168 pounds. That was his debut fight. That was him testing the waters at 168. It was a tune-up before, I believe it was the Danny Jacobs fight, right? Then he went back down to 160 to fight Danny Jacobs, who was a top 3 middleweight. Like, he fought immediately right after that. He fought Danny Jacobs. So I find the criticisms odd, to be honest with you. Like to bring that up without context. Yildirim. Well, he fought Yildirim in the middle of Smith and Saunders. Like, why does this need to be explained? It was just a tune-up in the middle of those two fights. Are you saying Canelo should have fought Benavidez in the middle of those two fights?
Mm-hmm.
Are you saying Benavidez is a tune-up? Like, we got to put things.
There's one other narrative out there that I need to hit on real quick. But first, Haplo, I don't think you're picking up the sarcasm we're laying. Is we are asking the same question. Like it should be. This should be like Morrell shouldn't be too much to ask.
I mean, that's how. But you know what? That's
we're not
the
even
irony.
the ones, we're not the ones asking it, but we're being accused of asking for it. But even if we are, like that should be like Morrell. Like that should be doable, right? Should be doable. Dust off his Reggie belt.
Like, you remember when Cotto wanted to fight Mayweather, right?
Yeah, he fought Trout before.
Could you imagine if Cotto was like had that attitude, like? Well, why should I have to fight all these guys before I fight Mayweather? Mm-hmm. I'm just going to not fight anybody until Mayweather gives me my shot. Well, he wouldn't have had a Hall of Fame career. Like, he wouldn't have fought Judah. He wouldn't have fought Quintana. He wouldn't have fought Mosley when he fought him. He wouldn't have fought Margarito. He wouldn't have fought Manny Pacquiao. Like, think of all the, even at 154, like Yuri Foreman, like maybe the run wasn't that impressive at 154 in hindsight, but nonetheless, you can't have that attitude. Like you know, like you got to be willing. Like you fight the best available opponents.
Yeah. If
a fight isn't made at the moment, Trinidad wasn't like, oh, well, I'm not gonna. Well, why should I have to fight Whitaker right now? What? Are you protecting me from De La Hoya? Like what? That's crazy, bro. People have no idea who Muhammad Ali had to fight Frazier again before he got the shot against Foreman. The second Frazier fight.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, oh, nobody was saying, oh, well, why does he have to fight Frazier again? Why doesn't Foreman just fight him? Like, this is crazy, bro. Like, I'm just saying, it's nuts. It's crazy. And fighters today just feel entitled to everything, right? And they think the checkmate, the ace in the hole, the hole in one, the touchdown, the game-winning home run, the grand slam, they believe, okay, the golden goal, all right? They believe that the touchdown overtime, okay, the buzzer beater, like they believe you just say Yildirim, and that's a get out of jail free card. You know what I mean? Like you just start asking normal questions. Yildirim. What about Yildirim? Well, he fought Yildirim, so I don't think anybody should have to do anything to fight Canelo. Like, this is crazy. Are you crazy? Like, bro. Like that's what they do. With that logic, then nobody needs to earn anything, right? With that logic, like this is crazy.
You know, another one out there is hilarious to me is Canelo's holding up undisputed at 175. It's like, bro, these dudes could have fought each other multiple times by now for undisputed. They can do it in June if they want.
Look, Alex, look.
That's number one. But number two is Bivol can do whatever he wants. He doesn't have
to take the fight.
Canelo. Go fight. Go demand the fight with Better Beef and go fight that one.
Dude,
or do something
Canelo
else.
did not enforce the immediate rematch. He went for Golovkin. So, like, Bivol's not required to fight Canelo. He's not. Yeah, he just isn't. He's not. All right?
He's free to do whatever he would like.
Oh, no, he's holding it up. Oh, it's all everything's Canelo's fault. Everything. You get divorced, blame Canelo. Like it's crazy. Look, Alex, I've been saying this in nauseam, but I'll just ask you and the chat, whoever. Like, before Canelo even sniffed 168, sure, he beat. Remember when he beat Rocky Fielding, and the narrative was, who does this guy think he is? they want to call him a champion at 168, but he wanted a Reggie belt. What is it? Why doesn't he fight one of the real champions? And he went back down and like he just wasted our time. And look, who were the 4 champions, Alex, before Canelo showed up at 168?
Benavidez,
Plant,
mm-hmm.
And they were both with who?
PBC.
And then you had Smith and Billy Joe.
Mm-hmm.
They were with Matchroom.
Mm-hmm.
Canelo was nowhere to be found. Okay? Nowhere to be found. Canelo was fighting Jacobs over there. Canelo skipped the division and fought Kovalev. And then he was out. He was in litigation for a whole year. Like a whole year, Calix. Was there any unification fights?
Nope. Not a one.
Nothing.
Not a one.
But I'm expected to believe that Canelo's holding up the fights. You guys should thank Canelo. That's the final thing I'll say. Because of Canelo showing up, taking those belts from all these suckers, okay, is the only reason you got Plant versus Benavidez. That's the only reason that fight happened. It didn't happen when they were both champions or none of that. This fight only happened because one guy was no longer holding a belt hostage to try to get a payday from Canelo. Canelo already knocked his ass out, and he was no longer protecting an O, all right? And he was a perfect step up for Benavidez. He provided that for you guys, okay? So you should be thanking Canelo, okay? Not saying he's holding up the division. Shit's crazy.
That's it. And my last final thought is good win for Benavidez. Sets up the man for a fight with Canelo, and you'll get it. You'll get it. I didn't see a monster, but you'll still get the fight, and we'll see if we have one. We'll see if we have one. On that note, God bless y'all. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Peace.
Peace.